historic decision. How will the Modi government respond and how should it respond? The government has advocated in favor of reviewing the law, but as the court decision came, Minister Kiren Rijiju also spoke about a Lakshman Rekha and the need for all organs of India to maintain that boundary. What did it exactly mean? Is the sedition law about to be read down by the court, or is it going to be reviewed? And will the government send it back as an issue to parliament? Many questions that we are going to pose to one of the country's top law officers today. Our newsmaker on this program today is the additional Solicitor General of India. And let's go across to him now. We're very pleased to have him with us. And he's, of course, clarified that he'll be answering a host of these questions in his personal capacity and not on behalf of the government. But still, Mr. Satyapal Jain, it's great to see you after a number of years. Namaskar, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, let me start by asking you a काफी interesting confusion थोड़ी सी रही with the centre's response on sedition. Initially, the center said that it defended the law. Then the center in an affidavit said that on the advice of the Prime Minister, it thought that the law must be reviewed. And now that the Supreme Court has put this law on hold, we heard the minister talking about a Lakshman Rekha. I know you're speaking in your personal capacity, but what do you make of these developments?
See, there are three aspects of this issue, which you have very rightly pointed out and summed up the entire thing in the just one or two sentences. First is the law itself, per se the law. So far as this law is concerned, it's a very old act enacted in somewhere in 1870. And it's not that for the first time it is being challenged. This was challenged, its validity was challenged in the Honorable Supreme Court. And as everybody knows by now, a 5-judges bench of the Supreme Court in 1962 itself upheld the validity of this law. So therefore, not that for the first time fingers are being raised. As a matter of fact, on the same issue, already 5 judges bench have held that this is a valid clause. So far as the now controversy is concerned, primarily the allegations against striking down the law, the most forceful argument is that it has been misused, or that there have been some people who should not have been involved, but they have been involved on these cases from different states. Now, this law is concerned, the execution lies with the states, not with the central government. So far as the history of the law is concerned, I will respectfully submit. Earlier, the definition was there, 124A, whosoever does anything, that's a different thing. But in 1962, Supreme Court, by its Kedarnath Singh judgment, said that only those activities which incite violence, which has the tendency to create violence or public disorder, they will be amounting to sedition, not others. So far as the Government of India stand is concerned, it is a fact that the Government of India earlier said that they stand by the law. Even now, they have not said that this law is bad. They have not said that we are going to strike it down. They have not said that this law will not remain on the law book. The Government of India and the Honorable Prime Minister has shown the magnanimity, and on different queries put by different people in public life and different examples from different states, they have said they will reconsider, review it. And I personally feel that yes, this law must remain on the law book, but at the same time, we have to lay down certain parameters so that this law is not misused.
So you are personally in favor. You're personally in favor of restricting how this law is applied and not getting rid of it. Is that correct?
Yes, I am in favor of retaining this law because, see, the foremost important thing is the unity and integrity of India. There are certain forces everywhere in every polity, every society, our country also, who do not believe in the unity and integrity of the country. They will make all possible attempts to incite violence against the country, against the nation. I am not talking of the government. If you have anything against the government, you are free to criticize it. That should not be sedition. Holding dharna pradarshan against the government is not sedition. Criticizing government, differing with government is not sedition. But if you incite violence in the society or you create public disorder, I think these are things which sedition law very well covers. And in my view, you cannot say altogether that whatever violence somebody may do, howsoever public disorder somebody may create, but no, sedition law will not be applicable.
But Mr. Jain, I must show you, as you know, the most recent images of how this law was sought to be misused in Maharashtra. where you had the Ranas, the husband and wife couple, who wanted to recite the Hanuman Chalisa outside the chief minister's residence. And this was perceived to be a law and order issue, obviously politics by the government there. The sedition case was slapped against them. Of course, the court heard none of it and it was dropped right away. Not everybody is so lucky, right? You also know this. I will also show you, before you respond, some other cases of people who have faced sedition charges. Young climate change activist Disha Ravi, linked to the farmers' protest. Shashi Tharoor, also again linked to the farmers' protest. Then you had Kafil Khan, now a member with the Congress party, for his comments on a tragedy involving children in Gorakhpur. Veteran journalist Vinod Dua for comments he made on the Prime Minister. And Umar Khalid, still in jail. Kanhaiya Kumar, now with the Congress. But I started with the Ranas, because they are people whom the BJP has also spoken up in support for. Asim Trivedi, who was slapped with sedition on the watch of the UPA. So, irrespective of BJP, UPA, Shiv Sena, this is how the law is misused. Why do you still feel that this law should be maintained? Because none of the people I showed you, you may dislike them, you may disagree with them, are traitors to India.
See, I agree with you that this law has also been misused or abused, like other laws in the country. Point out as a lawyer to me, and as a lawyer, I can point out to you, point out a single act which has not been misused by the local police authorities, or there have been no allegations of misuse. Dowry Act, the Caste Act, the Prevention of Corruption Act, the all other section, murder, rape. You know, in criminal law, there are people who have been in jail for 12 years, 14 years, 15 years, and ultimately acquitted of the murder charge. What will you call that? Is it not the use or misuse or abuse of the law? Simply because there are certain cases where the law has been abused or misused, I think that in itself is not sufficient to strike down the law. Therefore, now there is a need for reconsideration and review of the law, so that all such incidents, all such activities, all such instances can be avoided in future. So far as the cases that you have mentioned, because most of
Yes.
them are being monitored by the courts, and courts are examining their validity, whether they should be released on bail or not. And after now the Supreme Court order, most of the people Supreme Court has said they can apply for bail. And when the Supreme Court says they can apply for bail, primarily it means that the courts will be sympathetic towards granting bail to them. So therefore, I think law must stand, but at the same time take all possible steps which may avoid any misuse or abuse of this law. And I may say once again, if you strike down any law only on the ground that this has been abused or misused, I'm afraid then in India you might have to strike down many laws, including many important legislations, because allegations of a misuse are everywhere.
The center was in favor of having a superintendent rank police officer decide on FIRs related to sedition. Now, the Supreme Court has put this on hold, and the minister has spoken about a Lakshman Rekha. Can you talk about whether you believe that this is the law that should or will be decided by Parliament, or do you think the final word on this law will be spoken by the Supreme Court?
See, so far as the law making is concerned, Indian constitution, people say the supremacy is of the Indian constitution. There is a division of power. The legislature legislates, executive executes, and judiciary decide about the validity of the law. To enact a law or to amend a law basically is the responsibility entrusted to the legislature by the Constitution of India. Though the judiciary has the power to strike down any law that it feels it is unconstitutional or beyond the basic structure of the Constitution of India. And the best example which I have been given, two examples I give always of the Indian judiciary. Number one, the 5 judges bench of the Honorable Supreme Court struck down a law, National Judicial Appointment Commission Act, which was passed in Indian politics for the first time unanimously by all MPs.
I
About
remember
800
that.
MPs. It was struck
Yeah.
down. Everybody accepted it. And second is the independence of the judiciary. In the whole world, there is only one example where a single judge of a Allahabad High Court, State High Court, set aside the election of the sitting Prime Minister of India. I am giving these two examples how powerful the judiciary is. But the job of the judiciary, to my mind, is to examine the validity of the law and pronounce on it whether it is valid or invalid according to them. So
So
far as
do
the
you believe?
legislation is
So do
concerned,
you believe?
that
So
should be
do
left
you
to the
believe?
parliament.
That's what I was going to ask you, that do you believe the Supreme Court should send this issue back to Parliament?
I will not like to suggest that, but I will say that now when the government is reconsidering, government will come with its proposal to the Parliament on the next date of hearing, 3rd July or 6th July, whatever date is. And the judges, which are senior most judges of the Supreme Court, they are kept in high esteem by all people in the judicial circles. They are very responsible judges. They are very, having vast experience in public, constitutional, and the legislative jurisprudence. They will take an appropriate decision. But so far as the Lakshman Rekha is concerned, that has to be maintained, to my mind, by all the three sections. Let
So
Parliament.
do you believe the court has crossed the Lakshman Rekha by putting the sedition law on hold?
No, I think it is. I will only say that I have been surprised by this order because of the simple reason. This same clause has been upheld by a 5 judges bench of the Supreme Court in 1962. And if you have to overrule that, you have to say, no, that view was not a correct view. Then a further bench has to be constituted, which should not be less than of 7 judges. That is the judicial parlance. So in case you feel that no, this law has to be struck down and Kedarnath Singh's case has to be overruled, to my mind, it would be the job of the 7 judges bench. But at the same time, we respect and honor the Honorable Supreme Court. Their order will be faithfully implemented, and we will not give any chance to the Supreme Court to have any complaint so far as the working of the government is concerned.
Okay, we'll wait to see what happens in this particular case. But before we let you go, let's take a look at another sort of arrest that has made the headlines, which is that of BJP leader from Delhi, Tajinder Bagga. You did appear in court and you have managed to get him a reprieve. But do you not think that whether it is Tajinder Bagga, whether it is Jignesh Mevani, or whether it is the Ranas, I've picked up 3 different examples, all 3 represent a misuse of the police, as it were?
See, so far as Mr. Bagga's case is concerned, there are 2 aspects of the problem. One, whether his utterances amount to some criminal liability and it invites those sections which have been imposed by the Punjab government on him. I will not like to comment on that. But so far as his arrest part is concerned, with full sense of responsibility, I am saying, maybe Punjab police, maybe Maharashtra police, maybe Haryana police, maybe Himachal police. The police is bound to follow the guidelines, law laid down by the Supreme Court while arresting a person in other state beyond their jurisdiction. The Supreme Court says if police of one state has to arrest a person from outside that state, it will go in uniform. It will take the FIR with them. They will inform the police of that state in advance that we want to arrest him. They will also get the transit remand also of the person concerned. Not that you will just go there and drag him or just pick him or request him to sit in their car and without showing anything to any person, bring him to your own state. This is not permissible in law. Maybe any person, any state and all that. With due respect to the Punjab police, to my mind, Punjab police crossed its Lakshman Rekha when it went to arrest a person in Delhi without taking the Delhi police into confidence. And law further says, suppose police of one state from where you want to arrest doesn't cooperate with you, then the law gives you a remedy. Move the concerned magistrate, go to them, the magistrate will give you remand, you take custody of that person and bring him to Punjab. It is a larger issue. I am again saying, there have been number of examples of police successes against police officers from different states. And that is why the Supreme Court has laid down these guidelines, which according to me, Punjab police violated. They should have followed those guidelines. Have they followed those guidelines? I will say कि जो उनकी किरकिरी हुई है, फजीहत हुई है, शायद वो बच सकती थी.
Okay, Mr. Jain, we leave it there. Pleasure talking to you. We'll definitely look forward to talking to you again. But for now, thank you, sir, and namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.